Hello viewers, welcome to another episode of Ebenezer, coming to you right here on this network. Thank you for including us in your morning routine each week. This morning, I look forward to a conversation with a young couple as they reflect on the topic of life choices. They will join us in a conversation as they share their story, reflecting on their journey so far and how that journey brought them together in a union. In the meantime, we are going to look and explore the question of integrating into adulthood by asking, what is successful integration from youth to young adult into adulthood? The interest in family therapy has grown with many related professions and disciplines, and that include some basic aspect of understanding in different aspects of family therapy. One among the many theories in family therapy is developmental stages. The developmental stages of both individuals and families in life. Individual developmental stages include successfully completing certain tasks. Individuals grow physically, they grow psychologically, and they grow developmentally. Now, James Fowler introduced the topic of faith stages in looking at developmental stages in life. In faith stages, Fowler is addressing spiritual growth, which sometimes may not necessarily be included in the developmental stages in life. Now, I want to read a scripture from 1 Samuel 2:26 that reads, "And the boy Samuel continued to grow in stature and in favor with the Lord and with people." He continued to grow physically. He grew spiritually, even as he grew emotionally and socially, in favor with the Lord, that's spiritually, and in favor with people, socially. A similar summary is given in the New Testament about Jesus' life. Luke 2:52 reads, "And Jesus grew in wisdom and stature, and in favor with God and man." Growing and maturing in life may include people continuing with education, people entering into the workforce, into the developing professionally. In some cases, people coming together in a union, in marriage, and where applicable, starting families. These stages, they merge in as one. People don't focus on one, or growth that does not happen selectively. As people grow physically, it is expected that they also grow developmentally, completing developmental tasks. The hope and expectation is that they will also grow spiritually, in favor with God, in relationship with God. And they also grow emotionally. They become emotionally stable in life, managing those emotional challenges, life stressors, situations that pose challenge. As they overcome one challenge after another, they grow and mature in life. I reflect on an experience of my own growth from youth to young adult. A time that I encountered multiple challenges. Thankfully, at the time that I was encountering these challenges, I had already committed my life to God. And therefore, spiritually, I was also growing and maturing and using my spiritual knowledge and growth sometimes as one of my resources and supports in facing physical, psychological, and emotional challenges. And thus came what I termed as my life beneath the cracks, my journey beneath the cracks, which was characterized by multiple challenges, even what I've described in the book as unwanted attention, even fraudulent marriage proposals. I capture some of these experiences in chapter 5 of the book, Beneath the Cracks. The chapter is titled Providential Evasions, including flawed marriage proposals and malevolent conspiracies. I particularly write about a practice prevalent in my early years and reflect on God's provision in rescuing me from flawed proposals. One instance is where a 65-year-old man approached my dad to make a proposal for marriage. His words were, "Let me take this burden out of your hands. She'll be my responsibility and you'll get a handsome dowry from her." Thankfully, my dad rebuked him. He asked him to leave the house, saying, "Never talk about my child in that manner, and I don't ever want to see you in this house again." Thank God my developmental journey, though thwarted, never suffered the consequences of living beneath the cracks. Developmental journey is helpful aspect of growing and may include professional development, finding love for some, getting married, if that is the path that someone's life takes, and for others, living as a single individual, achieving goals, moving through the professional ladder, and just integrating into life, getting to know what one's path is, living into that path. Developmental stages may take different paths, and sometimes someone may suffer a setback that feels like throws them 2 steps back. But that is okay. Sometimes that setback, that time that one feels derailed, is a great opportunity to learn, fortify one's supports and resources and resilience, and take another big step forward. Continue with the journey. In some cases, it may require a detour, taking a detour and finding one's path along the way. I have invited a young couple to share their story of look back into their own path, developmental stages in life, but also share with us the story of how that path brought their paths together, where they met, how they met, and how life is now going now that they are a couple. I will see you on the other side of the conversation. As we meet this couple, get to know something about them. Witness their Ebenezer story, their Ebenezer moment, as they lay their stones of help, and join them in giving God the glory, thanking God, as we learn something about them. Join me in this conversation that happened a while ago. I recorded this conversation with this couple about a year ago. But their story and their Ebenezer moment is as current as their life unfolds day in, day out. I'll see you on the other side of the conversation. Ebenezer. Welcome back, viewers. As I said, I'm bringing young couple, but also like our children, but also growing up, becoming their own people. We'll get to know, we'll meet this young couple, we'll get to know them, and we'll hear their story. Noel and Enku, please tell us your names and something unique about yourselves.
Well, my name is Enku. I am married to Noel, and I work as a nurse at a family practice out in Cambridge.
My name's Noel. I work at a door and trim company, and here in Waterloo, and I like to play guitar.
And he's married to me.
That's true.
That's wonderful. You like to play guitar because that is how we got ourselves the best theme song played ever. So thank you for your gifts and talents that you continue to put them at the service of God in different ways. Now, to begin, describe your years as youth, or you can pick up at any spot because we have this short time, but we just want to know something a little bit about you beyond your names.
Well, I lived with my dad and my older sister. We'd come to Waterloo, and my dad always sent me on a church bus to whatever church will have a bus that's running in the area. So I started going to Pentecostal churches when I was around 8 or 9. And it would actually just be me and the family that would leave on the bus, go to this church, do Sunday school, and then bus back. But when I was in grade 6, my dad and sister joined me at Waterloo Pentecostal, and we had been going to that church ever since. And so I got to grow up in the youth program. So I was around maybe 13 at that point when I started to regularly attend Sunday services, be a part of the youth on Sundays, and then I got into volunteering with kids ministry up until I was in university. And then at that point, I was starting to transition into youth and young adults.
That's wonderful to hear it, because I know a bit of your story because I saw you in Sunday school when I was teaching the class. But it's great just to hear your perspective talking about. And I think it was also brave that you took that bus and went to church at age 8.
Yeah, I mean, my dad loved to just dress me up and then send me off. And him and my sister, I would assume that they probably were calling a lot of family at that point. Just then, because the house would be a lot quieter. But yeah, I just remember I'd get dressed up in some type of dress that I didn't want to wear, and then I'd be on a bus with usually more adults and elders, which was always neat. And then I'd be at the church with a bunch of children that I'd never met before and suddenly be back home again. Yeah.
Thanks, Enku. How about you, Noah?
So my family's from Simcoe, so that's where I grew up, and we'd go to, we lived in Waterford. We went to church in Simcoe, and that was like the church that I always went to up until I went to university, where I went in Waterloo. And there, my aunt and uncle had always gone to the same church that Enku went to, and so eventually I started going there a little bit, and then at one point I started helping one of the worship pastors out, doing like a program for youth during March break. And then eventually I just started, playing on worship, and then eventually joined young adults, and then, yeah.
I remember hearing the stories of when you guys would go for prayers as the sun was rising, prayers in the morning, but also prayers. I think when you started your first job, the young adults came with you to pray. Just a foundation of prayer has been key in your lives. So I want to ask, who or what would you say influenced you in your journey, in your direction of faith?
Throughout it, I think there were different influences. So just the the regularity of going to Sunday church, especially with my family at WPA, was the first kind of understanding of what my faith was and why I was actually going to church, because I would then also have conversations with my dad and with my sister, and we'd really together be into the Bible, and my dad would like to try and do devotions with us and make prayer a more regular thing. And then come university, it kind of switched. Since I had been going to a Catholic school I didn't necessarily involve in any of the religion in that aspect at the school, but in university, I became even more engaged at WPA, and so my interaction with my youth pastor, which would have been Pastor Rob, and then transitioned into Pastor Foyle, and my interaction with worship pastor as well, Pastor Jeanette, while they started to speak into my gifts and make me aware of what talents I had, that also then led into more of a deeper relationship with God, and knowing that no matter what you've come from, He always has a purpose for you, and He always has like a place for you every step of the way. And so
I really thank God, Enku, that you had these mentors, this youth pastor, worship pastor, and people who saw the gift and called it out. How about you, Noah?
So I'd say during university, I didn't attend church as often. Just often, I guess, busy, or transportation wasn't as easy. So I guess it was probably after university. I was going to church, but I wasn't as involved as much. I was helping out occasionally with worship, but then I'd say mainly it was my mom told me to join a small group, and at that point I did that, and then I got involved with young adults and everything from there.
And then you just blossomed. I'm grateful that your mom made that suggestion.
Yeah.
Then your gifts became valuable in young adults. Now, the question that we'd like to know is how or when you met. And I know that's a long question. The story is long. But if there is just what a memorable moment in your relationship is, it can be either when you first met, or a certain date, or when Noel proposed. Just what's memorable about when you met and started a relationship?
Okay. So we had known each other for a while. We had seen each other, I guess.
that's up to discussion, but
you had noticed the existence of each other.
Yeah. And then I say one of the first times we hung out, there was actually a meteor shower. And so us and a few friends were like, okay, we're gonna go see it, but it turns out it was actually quite cloudy.
Yep.
So we're trying to drive around the country a bit to find a good spot, and
this is on a Saturday morning after Enku had youth the Friday night. I get texted before I'm going to bed to say, hey, let's go try and see a meteor shower by a friend of mine. And I said, okay, fine. You know what? We'll just go to St. Jacob's. It should be visible there because there's barely any city lights. So at 4 o'clock, we woke up, and we went driving around, and quickly realized it was cloudy everywhere. Enku was really tired and hungry, cranky. And then Noel, you actually realized, okay, well, we can't see a meteor shower, but since we're up already, the sunrise will occur in about an hour, and you happen to know a spot to go to. And yeah,
on the other side of
town,
KW.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then.
Yeah. So we grabbed I'm guessing we grabbed coffee.
Well, probably.
Yeah. Got some hot beverages and then drove over.
And was that the same day as that basketball?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was the same day that I think all of us were helping out at church with a basketball camp or something for youth.
Yeah.
So we were up really early, and then we went in that, and we were there all day, just like playing basketball and stuff.
That energy of youth and young adults.
Yeah. It was a long day. Yeah,
I'm so happy that we've been part and celebrated your lives, but more so, I'm just happy that you have this vibrant young love and looking forward to learning and growing together in a relationship.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would you say, what would you consider an Ebenezer moment? A moment either individually or a moment as a couple that you can just say, God took us through this moment. I would almost say your wedding was Ebenezer moment because pandemic and how we have to be careful with planning and what can be done, what can't be done. But that will be me. What's your Ebenezer moment?
That was actually something that we were talking about. Was the wedding?
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, we had a wedding during COVID, and so we took all the precautions and everything and planned it well. But I think you don't know until a few weeks later if it was really actually safe, and if nobody came down with anything. And
yeah.
We did the wedding rehearsal dinner. We were careful to sit in different cohorts.
Yeah. Just the whole handling of the situation. God really put us in a safe space to have it done. And he kept us. I don't know. I wouldn't say that we were necessarily exhausted. We were tired, but leading up to it, we would continue to remember, okay, this is the purpose of the wedding. As long as this is what's accomplished, that's what we need. That's what we need for the day. And so we were able to just kind of roll with whatever came with us leading up to the day. And then, afterwards, weeks after, months after hearing, there was never an outbreak from our wedding. There were weddings in the area the week before and week after that had complications, but we were blessed, and God came through and just held us through.
It was wonderful, and I just saw you both. You are bright and shining. You are glowing. So thank you. Now, my question is, what are your hopes or your prayers moving forward? It's just at the beginning of your life together. What would you outline and would love to pray with you?
Well, a big thing for us, just as a part of our relationship, was that we wanted to ensure that we continue to impact our community as a team, and so we're in this year to come. We're looking forward to being plugged into the community itself, whether that's through the church or just finding where the need is. So we want to ensure, and it's a want that we have, but we also believe it's like a desire that God's put on our hearts, that our home isn't just for us, but for us to be able to open up to other people. And so, for the years to come, and even in this next year, we anticipate a big change to occur. And so we're just praying that God blesses everything that we do, and ensures that we follow the path and the dream that He has for us as well.
That's a beautiful prayer and dream. I wonder, Noel, do you want to add anything to that?
I just, I guess with that, is just hoping that we're able to do some of these things with the pandemic and everything. Last year at the end, as some restrictions changed, we were able to have some people over and stuff, but now we're locked down again. So we'll see what we're able to do. And
Thank you. Those are beautiful prayers, and we are praying with you. And I'm sure you are an inspiration to many young people, many young adults. Life is sometimes throws things at us. Life surprises us, but you have been strong. You have continued, and you continue just one day at a time, one foot forward at a time. So thank you so much. Thank you for coming today, and thank you for continuing to just wait and see where God needs you and where God is using you. I pray that the rest of your weekend is wonderful.
Yes, you as well. Thanks for having us.
Bye-bye. Welcome back, viewers, and thank you for hanging around. We reflected on stages of life, focusing on integration into young adult and beyond. I hope you can take some time this week to reflect on your own family of origin, taking note of those life transitions. The people in your family circles and extended family happen to have been the key people in your integration, the support system. Should you be navigating life alone or with someone, or even starting a young family, I pray and hope that things are moving in the direction that you want them to go, and that it is manageable. The topic of developmental stages and James Fowler's addition of stages of faith is a great one to explore and look at. As you mark those moments, those Ebenezer moments in your growth, in your journey, in your life, on behalf of this network that has provided this platform for us to share our stories, connect with you, our viewers. Thank you for joining us each week, and we extend the same invitation should any of our viewers have a story to share. Everybody has a story. It's just a matter of deciding what aspect of the story at each given time is relevant, applicable, can inspire someone, can be a blessing to someone, can encourage someone. What aspect of your story would you like to share with us? Should that be you, reach out on the email on the screen below at ebenezer.moments@gmail.com. It will be our pleasure to reach out to you, invite you as a guest to share your Ebenezer stories with us. On behalf of the Ebenezer team, those who work together to put these videos together, these episodes together, thank you for joining us each week on Tuesday mornings at 11 for Ebenezer Moments. Take some time to share your stories with someone and mark your stones of help. Whether you do it on social media, whether you do it by writing and singing a song, whether you write your journals, your stories, take a moment to share your stories this week. And in the process, mark your stones of help and declare your Ebenezer. I will see you next week for another episode of Ebenezer Moment. Hopefully, we'll get the second part of this story. As Noel and Enku mentioned that they have moved and they're expecting things to progress. And they'll tell us what life has been like in their new environment, in their new responsibilities. We'll see you next week. Have a gentle one. Ebenezer.